Hey, what's up, guys? This is ipaddress, and everybody's been asking me, how I get so maneuverable in the jets. And today's tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you some of those maneuvers and key bindings and loadouts, and let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to have to do is make sure our key bindings are set up correctly. In my key bindings, they are set to my specific preference. If you have a different preference, by all means, change it to your liking. But for me, I have throttle up, key binded to W, throttle down to S, turn right to D, turn left to A, pitch down to spacebar, and pitch up to E. So everybody might be saying, well, I thought you told me to bind pitch up to spacebar, so why do you have pitch down to spacebar? Well, that is because over here in the controls section, my vertical flight is set to normal, because I like flying my choppers with a normal flight path, right? So if this is set to inverted, then you're going to have to switch these, right? But since I fly normally, not inverted, my pitch down is set to spacebar and my pitch up is set to E. Moving on, roll left and right. I use my mouse afterburners. I use my left shift button. Toggle chase camera, this is important. I have it on my mouse button, which is very easily accessible by my thumb. I have my fire set to left mouse button, which is pretty normal. Firing my countermeasures is set to F, so it's right there on the keyboard, easily accessible as well. And then in case I ever have to bail out the jet, it's set to T, because I changed E up here, right, to pitch up. So enter and exit the vehicle is now T. And then also very important, my full map is set to C, so I can be looking at the map the whole time, know where other enemy jets are, and future targets, land targets that are on the ground, so I can plan out my strafing runs. So now that we have our keybinds set up, let's go ahead. Now that we have our spacebar key binded, which is the most important thing, we're going to go ahead and test it out. So go ahead and hit spacebar. If you immediately start doing your roll, then you have done it correctly. If you push the spacebar and you plummet to the floor, then you need to go back into your key bindings and switch these two around. So if you are hitting the spacebar and you're actually going into the ground, go ahead and switch these around. Okay. So spacebar is making me pitch up and turn. E is making me go down as I wanted. A is turning left, D is turning right, W is accelerate, S is decelerate, F is my countermeasures, C is my main map, left thumb mouse button on my mouse is going to allow me to go from first person to third person. And last but not least, T to exit the vehicle, and that's it. Our key bindings are set up correctly.
Alright, so now that we are familiar with the key bindings, let's go ahead and start practicing. We'll start off with the attack chopper, the attack jet, just because it's simpler and we don't have to deal with the afterburners at the moment. So as soon as I hit my spacebar, right, we're going to be doing our roll. And it doesn't matter where you want to go in your roll, you just need to be holding the spacebar all the time. And you can change directions by a flick of the wrist on the mouse, and the entire time you keep your spacebar held to make that roll continuous. Now the most important thing about rolling and maneuverability is keeping your speed. So in the upper left corner is in the heads-up display here. They have actually made these heads-up displays a lot more visible than they used to be. They used to be very, very light green and you couldn't see crap in them. But in this heads-up display, you can see in the upper left, I'm going about 312 miles per hour, which is actually the sweet spot of, very close to the sweet spot of 313 miles per hour to get the fastest turn rate possible in the attack jet or stealth jet. So whenever I start rolling, my speed is going to be different. Right now I'm just rolling to the left, horizontal roll, and I am going a constant 345 degrees, or excuse me, 345 miles per hour, and I want to bring that down to about 313. So I'm going to start pressing the S key to decelerate and bring me down to that 313. I can tap it, I can hold it down for a little bit, I can tap it real fast and try and get there, and you know, just any combination of tapping or holding that S key, whatever you prefer, is going to get you to that 313. If I am in a dogfight, I usually am tapping. I don't hold or press W or S. If I do get below that 313 miles per hour mark, right, I'm accidentally held S too long, I need to press W to accelerate back up to that 313, and then, you know, keep on decelerating to the constant 313. If I let it go and I don't tap S fast enough, right, it's gonna go to that constant cruise speed of 345 miles per hour, so I need to bring it back. So generally, if I'm dogfighting, I'm in third person, so I can have a wide field of view and find out where the enemy jet is going and what maneuvers they're going to make, and trying to follow them. So I'm consistently tapping the S key to keep me right around that 313 miles per hour sweet spot in the jet. So, but you know, once you get used to it, and you know, if you practice inside the first-person view of the cockpit, you can see how easy it gets after a while of just tapping the S key, and every once in a while the accelerate key, just to keep you honest and get you to that sweet spot. You'll get a feel for it, and then you can do it, you know, outside of the first-person view, so you can keep tabs on those enemy jets, right? And you can switch back and forth as much as you like from first person and third person, just to check your speed every now and then and find those enemy jets. So that's the basics about keeping your speed in an attack jet, and that's the basics for horizontal loops, right? So if I try to do a vertical loop, you're going to see my speed change very drastically. It's going to increase coming towards the Earth and decrease going away from the Earth. So what I want to do is I want to slow down, decelerate when I'm coming towards the Earth, and accelerate as I'm going up. So it's not so much tapping as it's actually holding, accelerate, and decelerate in this loop, in this vertical loop, to get my consistent 313, which is actually pretty difficult to do because you don't have the afterburners like the stealth jet. But it's one of the harder loops to do. So if you become good at the vertical loops, then you're going to be getting behind your enemies very easily, since they will be doing a horizontal loop, and if you're doing vertical or diagonal loops, you'll definitely be closing that gap behind them and being able to shoot them down first. So that's pretty much it. You know, go out there, practice your loops, practice decelerating and accelerating to get that constant 313 miles per hour, right? It's a combination of both accelerating and decelerating, tapping both of them and getting that constant 313 miles per hour in the HUD. And once you get good enough, like I said, you can witness the landscape in the back, see how it scrolls by very fast, and you can tell, you know, oh, I'm going a little bit too slow, I need to speed up a little bit, going too slow again, I need to slow down a little bit, you know. And all this time, you're not moving the mouse very much at all. You're just moving it to the left, rolling, decelerating, finding your target, coming out of the roll, and then firing. And that's pretty much it about the attack jets. Let's go ahead and move on to the stealth jet. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with the stealth jet. The stealth jet is a little bit different than the attack jet because you have afterburners. Afterburners are great. It helps you get away from heated areas and allows you to do some cool things in dogfighting. So, like the attack jet, I can keep my constant turn speed of 313 very easily. It's, you know, I can still do the combination of accelerate and decelerate in the stealth jet and maintain those rolls as much as I need. One thing that the thrusters, or the afterburners, help out with is they give you a lot more acceleration. So what that allows me to do is hold down the decelerate key, and then now I can just tap the shift key whenever I want, and that's going to accelerate a nice amount every time I tap those afterburners. So as you can see, make my turn here, I'll show you again. I'm just cruising along, very slow, 200 miles per hour, and then tap 1, 2, 3, you know, and you can see those miles per hour going up very drastically. If I keep on doing it faster, nice fast tapping, I can get that constant 313 speed that I want with the afterburners while holding the S decelerate key as much as I want. So what that does is making vertical loops, making horizontal loops, making diagonal loops, it's all going to be easier maintaining that 313 speed with getting that acceleration, the extra acceleration from the afterburners. See, here's a horizontal one. If I turn, right, I can maintain pretty close to that 313 speed. It definitely takes some practice. I'm not the best at it yet, but you know, once you get an idea of what you have to do and what your controls let you do with the afterburners and with the decelerating in the stealth jet, you can definitely get behind people very, very easily and very fast, and eventually shoot them down with your cannons. One thing I like to mention though is when you're coming in on runs and you hear a tone, immediately use that ECM so that way you do not get a stinger fired at you. That's why I have stealth coding, just so I have a little bit longer time to deploy that ECM jammer, right? And it's going to allow me to get away quicker.